I know, baby. Nobody cares about a live show advert, but you can just skip forward if you're not interested. Hey guys, before the video, I just want to say there is about 1 week left until my live show in Los Angeles on October 24th, and then another live show in San Francisco on October 26th. Scott the Woz presents The Wozies. It's an award show based on info you input into a Google form upon purchase of a ticket, which you can quickly purchase by going to blueborder.com and clicking on the show you're interested in there. There's going to be a lot of pre-recorded stuff there too, taking your submissions and putting it into a ton of exclusive Scott the Woz episode-like content made specifically for the show. I hope it'll be a time, and a good one at that. But even if you aren't able to go and still would like to contribute something to the live shows, follow the link down below to the Google form to roast me, and it might be included in the final show. And I can tell if you're about to watch a video about Nintendo Anniversaries, you got some pent-up anger, so buddy, let it all out on me. You click on the Google form. Hey, always remember, it could be worse. You could turn 30 and this is all you get. 'Cause that's what Mario got for the Super Mario Brothers 30th anniversary. You know, there was a lot of chatter surrounding the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers and the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. What is Nintendo gonna do for this momentous occasion? You know, in my opinion, just never expect all too much, because for the 30th anniversary, this is all Nintendo did. They released Super Mario Maker, which is one of the Wii U's greatest games. This is a phenomenal game. And yes, the essence of this game is a celebration of Mario's heritage. But this was not created for Mario's 30th anniversary. You know, it's almost like a lot of people think Nintendo is like super into anniversaries, and they kind of are. Some years they definitely go pretty hard on them, and then some years they just phone it in. Like, this just kind of felt like for the 30th anniversary, they just kind of went like, oh shit, that's this year? Now, well, we have Mario Maker coming out. That feels like a good anniversary title. Because other than this, I mean, we got like some merchandise here. The 8-bit Mario amiibos, which were made for Mario Maker, but you know, they had a bunch of 30th anniversary Super Mario Brothers branding. And I really love these amiibos because they are fully 3D, and from any angle, it makes sense. You know, like, this is Mario's front. This is what he looks like from the side. This is his back. And, you know, from this angle, like, he still looks like, you know, how Mario looks in the original Super Mario Brothers game. So I just think that's really neat. These amiibos also get strangely very dusty. But yeah, outside of Mario Maker, there really wasn't much that Nintendo did to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Mario. They had this whole segment during their E3 presentation that year where they had, like, a sweepstakes where you could submit a video about how much you like Mario. That was the way they ended their E3 presentation that year. That was one of their worst E3s of all time. And that didn't help. They had some Mario Hot Wheels release. Okay. They are kind of cool because, like, they took elements from, like, multiple Mario games and they kind of made cars out of that, and the packaging looks kind of neat, but it's like, you know, I mean, we're really stretching things thin here. I mean, this is pretty much all they released. They had the Mario Encyclopedia. That released in Japan, but that didn't even come out here until, like, 3 years later. It's just kind of strange how limited the 30th anniversary was, because in contrast, they went so goddamn hard for Luigi's anniversary, the year Luigi, 30th anniversary. So this was technically more so the anniversary of the original Mario Brothers arcade game, because that was the introduction of Luigi. But that does kind of make me question, like, why haven't they done an anniversary for the original arcade Donkey Kong at that point? Because that seems like a much more momentous occasion. Mario Brothers was a big moment for Nintendo, but like, the original Donkey Kong has never really gotten like a huge focus. It's always been Super Mario Brothers and a couple other franchises like The Legend of Zelda, Kirby's got anniversaries, Fire Emblem's got an anniversary, and Mario Brothers, the original arcade game, but more prominently here, Luigi. This was kind of a marketing scheme by Nintendo to just kind of like keep things a little more interesting. You know, 2013 was the Wii U's first big year, so I think they kind of wanted to just like have an ongoing thing they could always kind of turn to. Like, oh, it's the year of Luigi, so let's do some Luigi themed stuff. Like, they turned a train into Luigi shit. But it doesn't really matter what Nintendo did during the year of Luigi, because at the end of the day, the only thing most people remember is the fact that that was like Nintendo's worst performing year yet. Now, of course, that wasn't necessarily because of the year of Luigi, but it's just kind of funny to tell them, hey, yeah, What the f, man? Nintendo did do a lot for the year Luigi, more than a lot of other anniversaries they've had, which is just kind of funny. But much like pretty much all of Nintendo's other anniversaries, a lot of their big like releases for this anniversary felt kind of like okay. Like I said with Mario Maker, you know, like, hey, Mario Maker is a great pick to like celebrate the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. But was that why that game entered production? No, of course it wasn't. Like, they just wanted to make Mario Maker, and the release timing just ended up working out. They actually made sure to release that game in September because that was the official month in which the original Super Mario Brothers released. And Nintendo tried their hardest to make sure that the date lined up as perfectly as it did with the original Super Mario Brothers release date. They couldn't get it 100% exact, but they tried their hardest, and they picked the nearest Friday in September to when the original Mario game released. God damn it. I will never forget when Mario Maker 1 released. But yeah, going back to the year Luigi, much like how Mario Maker 1 didn't really feel like it was like meant to be the 30th anniversary title. All these Luigi games, they tried to like shoehorn all these games into the year Luigi like it meant a damn thing. They were originally positioning Mario Golf World Tour as a part of the year of Luigi. Like, just like, there's nothing Luigi about Mario Golf World Tour. He's in it. That's about it. Of course, you had Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, like that made sense, but that game was originally positioned to release in like late 2012, so as soon as they delayed it to March 2013, it all of a sudden became a part of the year of Luigi. Now, this one right here makes a lot more sense. New Super Luigi U. You know, it's effectively standalone DLC for New Super Mario Brothers U, where Luigi is your main playable character instead of Mario, and he has a lot of his little attributes, like, oh, so he has his wiggly jump, he's a lot floatier, and he has a harder time stopping, and his stages are a lot harder. So, you know, the entire game is pretty much like taking New Super Mario Brothers U and replacing all of the levels in that game with harder, faster, shorter levels. And I actually like this game quite a lot more than New Super Mario Bros. U. And the standalone physical release is neat because it comes with a fully green case with a Wii U green header, your Luigi logo. They also shoehorned a lot of Luigi references into Super Mario 3D World, which was, you know, the big 3D Mario game releasing that year. Now, Mario 3D World itself wasn't considered a part of the year of Luigi. However, they at least included like a bunch of hidden little sprites of Luigi and stuff. And if you have New Super Luigi U save data on your Wii U, or you just beat the game, you unlock a little bonus game, which is just the original Mario Brothers arcade game, but it's called Luigi Brothers. And yeah, both characters are just Luigi. Then you had like Dr. Luigi, which released on like New Year's Eve in 2013, which, yeah, that was coming down to the damn wire there. But Nintendo has done this weird thing with a lot of their anniversaries where they start them like later in the year and then they extend into the next year, like usually the springtime. I found it weird because Nintendo claimed that the year Luigi would end on a specific day, March 18th, 2014. What happened on that day? I don't think a damn thing happened. I was expecting there to be like some kind of end, but like no, for some reason they were like, yep, that's gonna be the end of the year Luigi. What did they do to end it? Nothing. I'm like, well, then why didn't it end a day earlier or a day later? Like, what's the point of this? Which is weird because NES Remix 2 released in like April of 2014, and that thing had like a special little side game called Super Luigi Brothers, which was super themed around the year Luigi, but it didn't make it in time. They also had Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which, you know, it is Mario and Luigi, so Luigi is a part of that. But, you know, Dream Team is pretty focused on Luigi, has a lot of Luigi stuff going on with it, you know, all based around Luigi's dreams. There's a ton of different Luigis in that game. So on the game front, you know, like they did kind of show up with a lot of stuff involving Luigi. A lot of stuff that was kind of cute and a lot of stuff that felt a little forced, as in like, you know, like, okay, come on, like, is this really a Luigi game? But I think they went crazy with the merchandise. I mean, like, you had this 3DS XL for Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which I don't really care about this one. This one looks kind of lame. It's just like a silver 3DS with like a little like Mario and Luigi icon on it. Who cares? But this one that we didn't get in the States, this one looks really slick. I love it. It's like a very kind of minimalistic design, but like all the shapes are Luigi's kind of like plastic plastered around, and it's very satisfying. I do like this one. You had like a Year Luigi soundtrack in Club Nintendo Japan. You had like the Club Nintendo Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon kind of like statue. Hell, they even redesigned Club Nintendo for a little bit to be Luigi themed instead of Mario themed. You know, they kind of went a little hard on the Year Luigi, which is kind of funny because it's like, as much as they did, it wasn't like this super bombastic thing. You know, like people like to get kind of like excited about the Mario and Zelda anniversaries because there's this idea of like, oh my God, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna announce? The Year Luigi, it's just kind of like, what kind of bullshit are they gonna pull out of their hat? That's what it felt like. And I mean, like, ever since then, I mean, like, they could have done the 35th anniversary year of Luigi. They could have done the 40th anniversary year of Luigi. They haven't done anything like that. You know, like, I think this was just kind of like a shot in the dark, them just trying to make something happen. Just do something that's remotely kind of interesting. And I think they kind of succeeded. Like, everybody remembered the Year of Luigi from 2013, but I think Nintendo doesn't really like anniversaries that much, and I think they kind of do it just because it's an obligation, because then they set this expectation for every 5 years, like, oh, we got to prepare something. And you can tell that they kind of just like roll with whatever they got at the time, and they kind of like turn these things into anniversary projects. For example, we have the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, announced in September of 2025. Firstly, this logo is kind of boring, but this one definitely has like a big focus on Mario Galaxy, which is cool as a big fan of Mario Galaxy. So kind of the big game release was Super Mario Galaxy 1 plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 for Nintendo Switch, which is kind of a big deal, you know, like throughout the entire Nintendo Switch life, it was kind of like a joke after 3D All-Stars released in 2020 of like, well, Galaxy 2 just isn't here. Okay, but it's like, all right, these are finally here, especially considering 3D All-Stars was a limited time release, so Galaxy 1 officially came back, and it's just permanently a game available on store shelves. But it definitely feels a little strange considering for the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, 5 years earlier, we got Super Mario 3D All-Stars with Galaxy 1 included, and now for the 40th anniversary, it's, hey, here's Galaxy 1, again. And then the fact that all these other games for the anniversary were announced to come out in early 2026, it's just like, okay. And Mario Tennis Fever and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book being considered anniversary titles for Super Mario Brothers is absurd. Super Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, maybe. I'll give that to you, but still, that's a pretty weak anniversary title considering it's basically just, oh, here's a bit of DLC for Mario Wonder. Now, them kind of culminating the anniversary with the Mario Galaxy movie, that's kind of cool, and it does make the Mario Galaxy focus of this anniversary make a lot of sense. But it doesn't really feel like it's just like, oh yeah, let's focus entirely on Mario Galaxy for the Mario 40th anniversary. It's more so like, hey, the movie is going to be Mario Galaxy themed, so let's do a lot of Mario Galaxy stuff, and let's just shoehorn that all into like being about the Mario 40th anniversary. In comparison, I'd say the 35th anniversary felt a lot more focused. Firstly, this logo is kind of fun. They had the Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary direct, and they announced a lot of cool stuff, and it pretty much culminated with Super Mario 3D All-Stars being the big thing at the very end. Now, I remember before this released, there was a lot of reports and rumors going around about Nintendo doing a ton of stuff for Mario's 35th anniversary. And it pretty much said something like, oh yeah, like they're gonna be re-releasing basically every Mario game ever made for the Nintendo Switch. And I mean, they re-released a lot of them. They announced 3D World plus Bowser's Fury was coming to the Switch. They released Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, a part of Nintendo Switch Online. I know one of their first announcements was this Game & Watch. Definitely a really cool thing, the fact that it's like a fully colored display and you can just play the original NES Super Mario Brothers on it. I think it's a little lame that it's only Mario 1 and Mario the Lost Levels, and that's it. I think it's just like, come on, do like Mario 2 USA, Mario 3 at least, like just have the original trilogy on here at the very least. And I think my thing with this is that it feels more like a tribute to the Game & Watch rather than a tribute to Super Mario Brothers. But I guess for a tribute to Super Mario Brothers, you'd want to go with Mario 35, which was also announced at the Direct. And that was just like a free game for Nintendo Switch Online members, which was such a cool idea. Now, it wasn't a perfect game at all. It got incredibly repetitive. Like, they definitely needed to tweak it a bit because, like, I remember that game being, like, pretty much just constantly, like, you'd play World 1-1 and 1-2 on loop. Sometimes you'd get a different level here and there, but for the most part, it was just like those stages constantly would show up. And that's an interesting situation where it's just like, hey, here's a game that is specifically designed to be an anniversary title. Now, who knows? Maybe they originally designed it around like 50 or 99 players, and then they were like, oh yeah, let's actually like tweak a bunch of things and make it 35 for the 35th anniversary. But then the fact that they took it offline after like March of 2021, yeah, everybody said it. It's stupid. They did the exact same thing with Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which, you know, after all the rumors about, like, this being, like, the ultimate 3D Mario collection, you know, all these things were going through my head, like, oh my god, what if they include Mario 64 DS, Galaxy 2, 3D Land, you know, and Mario 64 is, like, kind of remastered or remade in some ways? What if these are all remakes? What if they include a bunch of behind-the-scenes material, or, like, some cool little, like, challenge mode or something? No, this is very much just like these games, you know, spruced up a little bit and put on Nintendo Switch. For what it is, it's a fine collection, but it 100% could have been so much more. And the fact that this was limited as well, and it got delisted in March of 2021, was just such an unfortunate thing. Like, it was obviously trying to get everybody to get super pumped up about this. Buy it all right now. Nintendo tried to, like, mask it as like, oh, we just thought this would be the best way to celebrate the 35th anniversary. Off. You wanted everybody to buy it very quickly, and everybody did. Like, this ended up being one of Nintendo Switch's best-selling games. So the fact it's going for, like, these kind of prices is dumb. But other than that, the fact they were trying to pass off Mario Kart Live Home Circuit as an anniversary title is kind of funny. Like, no. It's kind of cute, but like, come on, guys. Overall, I think Nintendo went pretty damn hard on the 35th anniversary of Mario, and I don't really understand why, considering, you know, 35 is like, you know, like, what's so special about that anniversary compared to all these others? Like, you didn't give a shit about the 30th, but this one you give a shit about? Of course, I think it all comes down to, like, optics, like, what genuinely makes sense to do at that time. It was the Wii U 2015 for the 30th anniversary. You had Mario Maker coming out. What the hell else are you gonna do? 35th anniversary, you're riding high on the Nintendo Switch. Hell yeah, let's do something crazy. They did a bunch of cool merchandise. They did a bunch of tie-ins. I think they did something with like Cold Stone Creamery. They even did like a Splatfest in Splatoon 2 about like, oh, what's better, the mushroom or the superstar? Like a special Monopoly board themed around Mario's anniversary. It's literally called like Mario Celebration. In Japan, they collaborated with this popular musician around there to create a song based around Mario. And it's very like light on Mario stuff. There's like random Mario sound effects here and there. It's a really catchy song. It's actually really good. I mean, I don't understand half of it, but it's just like, it's a good song. But then they created some commercials showcasing different Mario games available on Nintendo Switch, and the transitions in these videos are insane. They have the background song and the song titled Create playing in like most of these ads, and like the transitions that they do are insane. Like, I'm just like, what? Like, where was this Nintendo during the Wii U era? You ever see a trailer for Yoshi's New Island from them? It's fucking pitiful. But yeah, Mario's 35th went pretty damn crazy. However, how do they compare to the 25th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers? I remember this popping up in stores, and I really damn wanted this thing. I've talked about it so much, but the Super Mario All-Stars limited edition for the Wii. This box looked so damn classy and special. You have this flap right here, and yeah, as you can clearly see, Nintendo didn't give a fuck about this one either. Yeah, this is obviously something that they kind of just went like, oh, like probably like maybe in June of 2010, they were like, oh shit, it's Mario's anniversary this year, right? Maybe we'll do something like December. I don't know. And I can kind of tell like why they decided to do this, because, you know, like Nintendo was already releasing a ton of their classic games on the Wii Shop channel, and they all followed a strict pricing structure. NES games were $5, Super Nintendo games were $8. Like, they very rarely strayed from that structure. But I think they probably felt like they were in a bit of a pickle with the original Super Mario All-Stars because, well, this is a Super Nintendo game, so it should be $8, but it includes remakes of 4 NES games. And these 3 right here were $5 a pop. Mario The Lost Levels, because that was a Japanese-only game, for some reason Nintendo always priced those at $6, so that was $6. So what, in reality, Super Mario All-Stars, they should charge like $21 for this. So I guess this was kind of their way to finagle the original Mario All-Stars on the Wii, make it a disc release, and bundle it with some 25th anniversary goodies for a round total of $30. This was a $30 release, And yeah, this is kind of a tough pill to swallow in many cases. On one hand, I do like this bundle. I think it has a lot going for it in terms of like aesthetics and classiness. It feels like a grand celebration. But in my opinion, the extras included really are not up to snuff. The booklet is kind of cute and it has some cute little tidbits, but it's really short. It doesn't go in depth with like anything you care about. It just kind of shows you a bunch of Mario games and goes like, hey, remember this? Remember that? Here's a page of cool concept art or cool merchandise throughout the years that you really care about. All right, moving on. Bye. And the soundtrack CD, it's just whatever. You get one track from each of the main Mario games, and then a bunch of just 1-second sound effects from Mario 1. I like this as a celebratory release, but I don't like this as like a package, I guess. Because Super Mario All-Stars in this game is just the original ROM. The only major change they made when they say new Wii Remote controls, that almost implies that there's like motion controls in this game or something. No, they just made it so then you can play this game with the Wii Remote on its side, because since this was a Super Nintendo game, if this would have released on the Wii Virtual Console, they would have forced you to use the classic controller or the GameCube controller. So they did go in and make it so then this game could function with a Wii Remote on its side. Thank God. They're working damn overtime over there at Nintendo. What was honestly a bit more special were the special edition systems that Nintendo released. You got a Nintendo DSi XL here that was a red system with some Mario emblems on the front, and it says Super Mario Brothers 25th Anniversary. Comes with a copy of Mario Kart DS included, but that's pretty much it. You know, it's nothing that crazy. The special edition Wii console they released wasn't crazy either, but I always loved this one because like the type of red that it was, like, oh my God, it looks so cool. I love how shiny red it is. This is a nice red too, but I love how shiny red the Wii is. The thing is, that system in North America included a copy of New Super Mario Brothers Wii and Wii Sports. So, you know, that's actually a really good deal. I believe it retailed for like $200. Like, that was nice. However, other regions got kind of cooler options. Japan's was more unique, but it wasn't as good of a deal. Pretty much that one only came with one virtual console game pre-installed, which was the original Super Mario Brothers. However, it was the special 25th anniversary edition of Super Mario Brothers. Ooh, what does that mean? All the question blocks say 25. Oh my God, happy fucking birthday, Mario! It is kind of cool, but it is kind of like, okay. Honestly, this European one is way cooler. It comes with New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Wii Sports, and Donkey Kong Original Edition pre-installed. The interesting thing about this is that it's NES Donkey Kong, but the thing with the original NES Donkey Kong is that they cut a level from the arcade game, and now that level is back in the game. So there we go. That's kind of cool. Other than that, the 25th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers was mostly relegated to like events throughout the world where it's like, oh, hey, let's have Miyamoto come over to this Mario birthday event at the Nintendo World Store or something. Let's cut a cake and let's make this kind of like a little press event. And, you know, there's like this famous drawing Miyamoto did of like Mario celebrating the 25th anniversary with cake. And, you know, there was some random little tchotchkes given out or just like random things with like the 25th anniversary Mario logo. Nothing crazy. But, you know, this kind of set the standard moving forward for like, oh yeah, Nintendo does anniversaries now. And 25 makes a lot of sense to do that with. You know, that feels like a very momentous occasion. However, Nintendo started this with the 20th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. Happy Mario 20th! Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this one really wasn't a lot, and they're definitely like stretching things a bit here. This was in 2005, and this product right here is kind of the main thing that I think most people will know about. It's the Famicom Special Edition Game Boy Micro. Now again, to me, much like the Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers edition, this feels more like a tribute to the Famicom than it does specifically to Mario. And the Famicom released in 1983, and Super Mario Brothers released in 1985. Yes, it debuted on the Famicom, but this feels like it would make more sense in like, let's say 2003, when it was the Famicom's 20th anniversary. Now the NES, the localized version of the Famicom, that has an anniversary in 1985, but this isn't themed around the NES, this is themed around the Famicom's controller. Now the packaging here
is themed around Super Mario Brothers, and it's really, really nice. Like, this is really cool. And, you know, they say thank you for selecting the Famicom version, and they also put the 20th anniversary Mario logo there. But yeah, this right here was always one of my favorite system designs of all time. It's a beautiful Game Boy Micro, so shiny, so perfect. And on the back, it has the logo for the 20th anniversary of Mario. This isn't a Mario Anniversary product, though, guys. They tried to pass off Mario Tennis Power Tour and Dr. Mario and Puzzle League on Game Boy Advance as anniversary titles. They re-released the original Super Mario Brothers on the GBA as a part of the Famicom mini-series, which is the equivalent to the classic NES series here in North America. But it's like they were re-releasing a bunch of NES games on GBA through that line. So the fact they were doing Super Mario Brothers, that's not special at all. That's the one game you knew they were gonna re-release if they were re-releasing NES and old Famicom games. What else did they do? I think they partnered with Hungry Jack's. Happy Mario 20th. They did a couple other things for Mario's 20th anniversary, but it really wasn't a big deal. Like, you know, they were definitely trying to get their feet wet with these anniversaries. But surely that must mean Nintendo must treat their other franchises with respect, right? But holy f***, right. Kirby's 20th anniversary. Now, this was actually a lot damn better than Mario's 25th, just based on this collection alone. Kirby's Dream Collection is still, to this day, one of the best compilations Nintendo has ever put out. And it mostly just comes down to the fact that, like, there's so much effort put into it. It's not necessarily like, oh man, all the games included in here, like, oh, finally, Kirby's Adventure is on Wii. Now, most of the games included in Kirby's Dream Collection were already available on Wii via the Wii Shop channel. However, it was really cool to get a couple of the games on this collection, like the Game Boy games, on the Wii for the first time officially. But what I really love about this collection are all the extras. You know, not only do we get the same kind of stuff we got with the Mario All-Stars collection, with the Mario All-Stars limited edition, like a soundtrack CD and a little history booklet, but we also get this really cool interactive timeline in the game where we can just see Kirby's entire history. We have 3D models of all the boxes of the games that we can just twirl around. We have gameplay videos of games that aren't playable in the collection. And there are even episodes of the Kirby Right Back At Ya anime included on this disc. In addition to new challenge stages based on Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Like, these are exclusive to Kirby's Dream Collection. Just what a wonderful collection right here. And in addition, they put out a couple bits of like Kirby 20th anniversary merchandise and did a couple of things. It wasn't like the craziest thing in the world. This was definitely like the biggest release for the 20th anniversary. But this, in my opinion, was a more than worthy celebration of 20 years of Kirby. Now, the 25th anniversary of Kirby kinda sucked. It was obvious this was sort of an off year for Kirby in terms of like big new releases. Like, they didn't have a collection like with the Wii or anything. They kind of announced this anniversary during the April 2017 Nintendo Direct, and they pretty much entirely focused on 3DS games for Kirby. So they announced 2 eShop games. That's Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and Kirby's Blowout Blast. These were not anniversary titles. Well, Blowout Blast could have been considered an anniversary title, but these are pretty much like expanded versions of the sub-games from Kirby Planet Robobot. They did this with the sub-games include with Kirby Triple Deluxe too. Like, they kind of beefed them up and then released them on the eShop as standalone experiences. But Team Kirby Clash Deluxe was like a free-to-play game, and Blowout Blast was the first standalone 3D Kirby adventure. Ooh. Problem is, since it was already based on a sub-game included in Kirby Planet Robobot, Kirby 3D Rumble, it wasn't that impressive, and it also really was not that long. As a little mini game in Kirby Planet Robobot, it was a very cute little thing, and they definitely expanded upon it with Kirby Blowout Blast, but not enough to really be like that substantial of an experience. It was definitely cool to finally have a standalone 3D Kirby game, because Kirby was a franchise that just refused to really make the jump to 3D for decades. And Blowout Blast is almost kind of like a reinterpretation or reimagining of the original Kirby's Kirby's Dream Land on Game Boy. Like, it kind of hits a lot of the same beats of that game. So, okay, you know, like, kind of cool, but it is just like kind of like a smaller eShop game. But they also announced in this Nintendo Direct that there will be a multiplayer-focused Kirby system for the 3DS released later on. That's all they said. And then eventually in September 2017, they announced it was Kirby Battle Royale. This game is just a waste of time. Kind of a weird spinoff where you have like a handful of mini games that they present in a way that it's like, oh wow, you're all battling together in this giant tournament or something. Like, it is very much kind of a throwaway spinoff that's kind of just meant to be another Kirby game to put out on the 3DS. Like, it really isn't anything special. Now, in the year of Kirby's 25th anniversary at E3 2017, they did announce that Kirby Star Allies was coming to the Nintendo Switch. Who cares? However, Kirby's 30th anniversary might have been his best one yet. We got mainly 3 games. So it started off with Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which, you know, might just be one of the best Kirby games. You know, the first mainline, big, fully 3D game in the franchise. It's incredible. Kirby in the Forgotten Land is absolutely phenomenal. Really does show, like, okay, for the 25th anniversary, you got some bum-ass hack first 3D game in the series with Blowout Blast. Forgotten Land is the first true 3D mainline game, and it is incredible. And then later down the line, there was the spin-off Kirby's Dream Buffet, which, I mean, you know, it kind of feels like a cute little, like, multiplayer-focused spin-off game. The fact that it's so focused around cake does kind of make it feel pretty in line with, like, oh, it's celebrating the anniversary, Kirby's birthday, all of that. And then surprisingly, later on in the year, they announced Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe hitting the Nintendo Switch less than a year within the release of Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which this definitely felt a little strange. Like, I was never expecting Return to Dreamland to get like a remake in the way that it did here, but I'm really happy it did. I love this remake. I love the new visuals. It looks fantastic. And the added content here is very substantial. You have the Magalore epilogue, and then you have Merry Magoland, which has a bunch of the sub-games or mini-games from previous Kirby games remade. Like, you have like the egg-eating game from Kirby's Adventure, for example, remade in like this new engine. And you have new copy abilities. Like, this is such a great remake of a game that I never expected to get remade, because it was kind of just like a bit of a more generic Kirby game in the franchise, which makes sense because Return to Dreamland was a return for 2D Kirby on consoles. Like, it was kind of meant to be a little more generic, a little more basic Kirby. But to see it come back was really damn cool. Now, I do think it would have been cool if they included the challenge stages from Kirby's Dream Collection in this game, since they were a part of Kirby's 20th anniversary. So 10 years later, bada bing, bada boom, you get this. But they also had a 30th anniversary concert, which was a big thing. They also had that for the 25th anniversary as well, which is often something I see with these Nintendo anniversaries, primarily with The Legend of Zelda. Right alongside Mario, Nintendo often celebrates Zelda's anniversary, which is just 1 year after Mario's. However, it's always a little spotty. Higher highs with the Zelda anniversaries, but lower lows. So for Zelda's 25th anniversary, I'd say this was like one of the highest highs you could have possibly gotten to. So we had E3 2011, which started off with a gorgeous orchestra celebrating the Zelda series, showing footage of Zelda Skyward Sword and all these other games throughout the franchise. I think this was included with most copies, if not all copies of Skyward Sword, but you got the 25th Anniversary Symphony CD, which they would then start the Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses kind of concert tour for years there. I think that went on from like 2012 to like 2017. But of course, this was included with Skyward Sword, which was released to coincide with the 25th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. You even have the 25th anniversary logo on the game box art here. Again, Skyward Sword was not meant to be the anniversary title, but it just kind of fell into the slot pretty naturally, considering that, you know, this was canonically the first game in the entire Zelda timeline, which is where, you know, it gets the birth of the legend whole tagline right here. But they also released Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS, which also was kind of a part of this whole celebration. So, I mean, yeah, you get the brand new mainline Zelda game, and you get a remake of, like, the most beloved one in the entire series. So that's pretty good already. However, they also released 4 Swords from the Game Boy Advance on DSiWare, so you could play that on DSi or the 3DS eShop for free. It was a free download, the multiplayer top-down Zelda game. That's incredible. Now, 4 Swords is a smaller release, and you definitely need multiplayer to, like, really enjoy it. However, like, it was free. Now, it was kind of a limited time thing. It was kind of like what Nintendo did with that whole Mario 35th anniversary nonsense. But still, it was free, and it was kind of hard to complain. But we also got special edition systems and controllers. We got a special 3DS completely themed around the 25th anniversary, including Ocarina of Time 3D. This one is incredible. Now, I do think it is a little lame because, like, you know, when I think of Zelda, I want fully fat ass gold. It's like the Link Between Worlds 3DS XL. This is my favorite one. I love how gold it is. I love how the bottom of it is like completely black. It's like a, you know, a mirror image of that because it goes along with the game. But this is nice too. I do like it, but it is kind of just like a regular Cosmo Black 3DS just with Zelda insignia on it. But to be fair, like the buttons on the inside, see, look at that. They're colored gold. The 3D slider is gold. Like, all right, you know, that's something. But the Skyward Sword Wii Remote bundle was like a no-brainer. This was $70 for only $20 more than the game by itself. And you get a golden Wii Remote with the Triforce over the speaker. And Nintendo also offered a gold nunchuck on Club Nintendo later on if you wanted a gold nunchuck to kind of match with the Wii Remote too. They also released this infamous book, Hyrule Historia, in Japan. This was meant to celebrate the 25th anniversary. And if you go on the inside, see, a lot of stuff is kind of here in commemoration of the anniversary of Zelda. But we didn't get it here in North America until like 2013 or so. But what made this book so infamous is for years there, the Zelda timeline was always something that was up for debate, and Nintendo never gave like an official statement on it at all. Pretty much always alluding to the fact that like it doesn't matter. The games are kind of connected, but like don't think about it too hard. Because that's the thing, like you may think Zelda is like a story-focused franchise. No. It's more story and lore focused than something like Mario, but that's not saying much. However, Hyrule Historia laid it all out there and gave you, boom, this, an official timeline of the Zelda series. Pretty crazy because they show like, yeah, there's multiple splits. If in Ocarina of Time, if Link dies, then this happens. If Link wins, this happens. But if Link remains an adult, then this happens. Either way, this book is really a cool like piece for any Zelda fan. It's really great to flip through. It's pretty much like the best of art books, the best of behind the scenes books, retrospective book. Like it's pretty much everything all in one. They had a couple other things here and there, but for the most part, that was Zelda's 25th anniversary, and I think that was a pretty crazy celebration. I mean, like, yeah, they could have had like a collection and like all this other crap, but I think just having like a 25th anniversary concert that was such a success that it just kept on going for years to come, a remake of Ocarina of Time, the brand new game in the Zelda series, in addition to like all this other merchandise, the special edition console, the special edition 3DS, the special edition Wii Remote, Hyrule Historia. Like, this is definitely up there as one of the best celebrations of a Nintendo anniversary yet. On a completely unrelated note, Zelda's 30th anniversary. Yeah, there really wasn't a ton they did for this one. I mean, they did stuff, but like 2016 was such an off year for Nintendo. Like, this was the big final year for Wii U. The 3DS was just kind of like moving along, chugging along. A lot of stuff happened, you know, that was like the year of Pokemon Go and Super Mario Run and the Nintendo Switch getting revealed, but for the most part, this was a very off year for Nintendo. 30th anniversary wise, Nintendo tried to make like a big deal out of Skyward Sword getting re-released on the Wii U eShop. Okay. They released a couple of amiibo here. Now, the initial releases of these had like the Zelda 30th anniversary logo on the top here, but they re-released these to just be like regular ass Zelda amiibo and to showcase how, you know, oh wow, you get some cool stuff in here in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, they put out the 8-bit Link amiibo, which, you know, is pretty much the same idea as the 30th anniversary Mario amiibo, which, you know, I'm a sucker for these. I think they're just really cool. Then you also had the Ocarina of Time Link amiibo and the Wind Waker double pack with Toon Link and Toon Zelda. They released some more books that were kind of like Hyrule Historia. You know, it looks very similar. Art and Artifacts. This one is definitely more of just a flat-out art book compared to Hyrule Historia. In addition, there was the Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia, and that was also pretty similar to, you know, this style of Zelda hardcover book. They were definitely kind of anticipating Breath of the Wild releasing in 2016, but that got pushed to March 2017, coinciding with the Switch launch. They kept the concerts going. That was pretty much it for Zelda's 30th. But was Zelda's 35th anniversary much better? They released Skyward Sword HD. Okay. I mean, this was a brand new ass game for the 25th anniversary. Now for the 35th anniversary, well, here it is again. And then much like Mario's 35th anniversary, they did the same damn thing. They did a Game & Watch for Zelda. And it featured, you know, Zelda 1, 2, and Link's Awakening. So honestly, like a much better value and much better overall than the Mario Game & Watch. Though I would definitely say the Mario Game & Watch is easier to pick up and play. Like, I just find that Mario is a much easier, like, oh yeah, you know, like I'm dicking around at my desk. Yeah, I'll play the Mario Game & Watch for a bit. I'll just blast through Mario 1. Zelda is something that I kind of want to, you know, sit down for a little bit more. But still, I mean, it's cool. Like, I do like this, but it is kind of the same thing as the Mario Game & Watch, where I'm kind of thinking, like, this feels more like a tribute to the Game & Watch than it does necessarily Zelda. I mean, like, there were Zelda Game & Watches, there were Mario Game & Watches, and this looks more like a generic Game & Watch unit. But the fact that this was pretty much all we got was pretty wild. Like, it's just like, okay, I mean, like, it's something, but yeah. This is pretty damn weak. I'd say we got a much better release for Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary. We got this big box set for Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, the first Fire Emblem game ever released, and it never left Japan for so long. And they finally, like, localized the whole thing. They just put out the NES ROM on the Switch eShop. They took it down like months later. It's like, oh, limited time thing. But they also put out this collector's edition. Sadly, it doesn't come with a physical copy of the game, just a digital code. But the stuff that comes with this thing is insane. You get this giant hardcover art book just included. You get a replica box that is like, oh, what this game would have looked like if it released on NES in North America back in the day, along with like this acrylic cartridge shaped art piece that you could put up on a shelf. You get like a Nintendo Power poster, like all this stuff that's kind of meant to be like, oh, this cute little interpretation of what it would be like if this game actually released outside of Japan back in the day. Absolutely awesome. I do think Fire Emblem Engage was also meant to originally be like a game for Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary. That game ended up launching in like early 2023, but due to like a lot of leaks and rumors and all of that, it's pretty obvious that game was kind of like being sat on for a good long while. So I think that game was kind of being developed to commemorate Fire Emblem's anniversary, considering like, oh, all of these characters from past Fire Emblem games are in Engage. But that's just the thing, man. I don't think Nintendo likes to produce games with the intention that like, oh yeah, this thing is gonna come out in this exact year at this exact time. I think they kind of want to take their time, or they just want to line things up to what makes the most sense. And, you know, acting like, oh man, this Zelda game needs to get done exactly in time for this specific anniversary. It's just kind of a recipe for disaster. So it's pretty obvious they just kind of fumble around the year of and they're like, oh, what can we do for this anniversary? Okay, well, this is in the works and this is in the works and maybe we can whip this up together real quick. That's how I feel Nintendo likes to do their anniversaries. But we forgot about the Famicom's 30th anniversary for the Wii U. They put a random NES or Super Nintendo game on sale for 30 cents each month for 7 months, which was a wonderful celebration until your bank calls you, putting all your cards on hold because what the f cost 30 cents? This must be fraud.